I know my paternal grandmother used to sing, but I never actually heard her sing because she lived down in Kerry. She was granny in Kerry when we lived in Dublin. My mum's mum lived with us, and she used to sing when I was very tiny. I remember have this kind of very vague memory of being underneath her Aran jumper and being sung to. And she would sing things like I Dreamt I Dwelt in Marble Halls, or that kind of Moore's melody type stuff. I don't have any concrete memory of particular songs she used to sing, except that one. But then my little sister was born 2 years after me, and she got the coveted place inside the Aran cardigan, and I got dumped out in the cold. But I do remember her singing. And I remember, and she used to do recitations as well. She used to do Abu Ben Adam. And we used to, I mean, you think of it, if you think of Abu, I don't know if you know the recitation, but if you think of it, it's quite long. The language is quite complex. And for a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old to go, Granny, say Abu Ben Adam, and to sort of sit absolutely enthralled while it was going on is actually quite amazing, you know. I think we don't give small children enough credit, really, sometimes. So, but really traditional music, traditional singing was not part of my growing up at all. Although it's sort of lurks somewhere in the genes, all right. Definitely, I think it just skipped a generation. So it would have been, the only thing would have been the odd time my dad, as part of his work, used to have to entertain foreign visitors, and they would be brought out to the Abbey Tavern in Howth for the kind of nights, the Abbey Tavern nights. The guy who lived next door to us was a traditional fiddler. Barry Ward is his name, but again, I don't remember ever hearing him play even, you know, so it wasn't anything that was really kind of part of my growing up. I went to school Katrina in Dublin, and I remember a snippet of conversation. I'm a teacher, and you know, I remember somebody saying at a conference recently, nobody will ever come to you and say, I remember you, you were my teacher and you really changed my life with that worksheet you gave me. And it's absolutely true. I remember one of my teachers having a snippet of a conversation with someone else in the class, asked her, you know, said something about you sing sean-nós, and the little one saying yeah, and getting the girl to sing a verse of a song and saying, oh, the breathing is the big thing in sean-nós. And yeah, I always loved singing. I loved choir in secondary school. I loved singing, and I remember that really kind of, I went, wow, what's that, you know? And then didn't really get any opportunity to investigate further. And then I went to Germany and Italy during my university days, and somebody saying, oh, you're Irish, you must know songs. And I, to my shame, I couldn't think of any. And I remember at that stage going home thinking, I really have to learn a few songs, because when I go away again, like that can't happen again, you know. So I may have learned a song or two at that point. And then I was in UCG, so, and I managed to stretch that one out for about 7 years. So I was well aware of sort of traditional music around me at that stage, and I suppose there must have been people singing, not very often in the sessions, because the relationship between singers and musicians can be somewhat difficult at times. But I know that there would have been at least, you know, you would have heard a song now and again, and definitely a lot of traditional music. In fact, I was going out with a guy there, and when we broke up and he headed back off to wherever it was he was going, I couldn't work out for quite a while what was wrong with my music collection, and I realised that the diddly eye I'd been really annoyed about him introducing into my life was now missing, and I had to go out and buy his collection all over again for myself. So, you know, I suppose it kind of crept in unknowns to me that way, but there was nothing, I would have known of songs. And then if you get a good trad album, there might be a song or two on it, and, you know, they would have kind of, I would have gone, oh, that, you know, they would have come to my attention, but I can't say, you know, that I listened to my granny and, you know, my aunties and uncles singing, because that just, you know, wasn't in my childhood, unfortunately.